Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. We have an exciting show for you today. Here on the Dean Show, a former tour manager for some of the most famous celebrities out there in the world. And he's here on the Dean Show to give us some of the insight on what really goes on behind the scenes. So you don't want to miss this show. Here on the Dean Show, George Green. We'll be right back.
This is the Dean Show.
This is the Dean Show.
This is the Dean Show.
This is the Dean Show. This is the Dean Show.
This is the Dean Show.
This is the Dean Show. This is the Dean Show.
This is the Dean Show.
This is the Dean Show. This is the Dean Show. This is the Dean Show.
We're back here on the Dean Show, and with us, former tour manager for some of the most famous celebrities in the world, George Green. Welcome to the Dean Show. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you, my brother?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well, thank you.
George Green, tell us a little bit about your history and the work you used to do with people such as Jay-Z, 50, and the likes of.
I've had the opportunity to work for Jay-Z at his multi-million-dollar record label, Rockefeller Records, for about 6 to 8 years. I started off as an intern before actually working for Jay-Z, and once hired in and got the opportunity, I started off as doing marketing, branding, and promotions, and that led into tour management.
What were some of the other famous celebrities that you worked with in the past before coming to Islam?
I've worked for 50 Cent, I've worked for Kanye West, I've worked with Snoop, I've worked with Jim Jones, Cameron, I've worked with the countless A-list artists. The list is extremely long. I mean, so many, too many to name actually.
Tell us what attracted you to this lifestyle.
Well, the lifestyle is welcoming. The lifestyle, it's appealing to young, sometime older, mature people as well. I mean, the cars, the jewelry, the women, the money, just the extreme lifestyle of looking like you have no problems and you are just in a comfortable, appealing lifestyle.
George Green, tell us, being around all these celebrities, all these famous people, can you tell us what was the day-to-day lifestyle of a celebrity like?
Well, the day-to-day lifestyle consisted of drugs, women, alcohol, partying, and just countless traveling, just numerous hours of traveling, tour bus, planes, and lots of partying.
Now here's the crucial question. Were you happy?
I personally was not happy. I was just looking for something that I never was able to find. I had no substance. I was looking for women daily, drugs daily, just constant things that never made me feel complete as a person. I never found that sense of completeness. I never found the opportunity to feel whole and just feeling like I was able to find myself. I was constantly chasing the same thing, the short-term happiness and the short-term fulfillment. Never found what I was looking for until I found Allah.
George, along with working for some of the most famous people in the world, these celebrities that you mentioned, did you get a chance to hang out with them while you weren't working on a regular basis?
Yes, I toured with them everywhere they went, from city to city, country to country. Most of the time we just toured, performed, did our shows, whatever country or city we were in, and most people, not naming any names, everyone would afterwards resort to women, the drugs, the alcohol, the short-term fulfillment. It's all a fantasy. It's a fantasy of short-term happiness, short-term fun, and you just repeat it over and over and over daily.
Now, George, tell us, when did you get exposed to Islam?
Well, I was exposed to Islam about 5-6 years ago, traveling abroad. I was exposed to the Middle East, and once I was in the Middle East, I got a chance to see Islam from a different perspective because growing up and seeing a lot of Muslims, I wasn't really exposed to a lot of practicing Muslims, and I was exposed to the American media, which didn't portray really the best example of a Muslim. So going to the Middle East allowed me a chance to see Islam from a different perspective, and I saw how welcoming people were towards Islam. I saw the unity, and I saw the brother and sisterhood, and I saw everyone were unified as to how they went to pray, and everyone was unified into doing things by Islam. And I was just impressed by that, and I started to take an interest and started to study and read and ask questions to active practicing Muslims, and inshallah, mashallah, I'm now here a Muslim, and I was able to basically find out for myself the truth of Islam, and I just took an interest, and I took my shahada, and here I am now a Muslim.
George, when was the turning point in your life where you finally realized that Islam is simply an Arabic word which means submission to the will of God? When did you realize that this was indeed the truth revealed from the Creator, not a man-made religion organized by man or men, but indeed it was from the Creator of the heavens and the earth? When did you finally realize this?
Well, I was always searching I never once claimed a religion, and I was always searching. I always believed in God, I always believed in a higher power, but I never could really find what I wanted through Christianity or any of these other things. So I just had I woke up one day and just started to research about the holy books. I started to find out more about the Holy Quran, about how the integrity of Islam was protected for over 1,000 years. I started to find out more about the Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, and I was convinced that Islam was the correct way. I was convinced that Allah was the only way, and I was convinced that it was time for me to become a Muslim.
George, tell us, how has Islam improved your life?
Islam has improved my life in several areas. It has allowed me to become more patient. It has allowed me to see life in a broader perspective, become a better man, not live a worldly temptation lifestyle, and it has allowed me to be more responsible as a man and as one with my relationship with Allah, and it has allowed me to just be less tempting and more responsible as a person. It has allowed me to be step away from worldly temptations and continue to ask Allah to guide me, continue to give me more patience, and it has just strengthened my relationship with Allah in many ways before Islam came into my life.
Let's go back in history just a little bit more. Did you ever rap yourself?
I was more hired help, never rap, never was an artist. I was always hired help. I was always the person responsible for helping the artist to be successful on tour. I'm responsible for helping them to have what they need on stage, dressing rooms, helping them to be punctual, helping them be detailed on tour, things like that.
George, tell us, now you've gotten to spend a lot of time with some of the most famous people, famous celebrities, people that are out there, people are idolizing them, you got to spend time with them. Now you are behind the scenes. Tell us, did you see them as truly being happy, truly having peace and contentment in life?
Well, I can't really speak for people, but I know myself. Most of these people are living lifestyles, and it's all smoke and mirrors, it's all imagery. I don't want to speak for anyone, but I'm sure that these people are not completely happy with this lifestyle, because this lifestyle brings along other things. It brings along violence, it brings along more temptation, it brings along, it welcomes lots of issues. And I'm sure that it's a very stressful lifestyle when you have to portray a certain image in the public's eye, and when you are rapping or singing about this lifestyle, you have to live it as well. And I'm sure this is not the easiest thing to do.
George, tell us, has it been challenging being a new Muslim?
It's been very challenging being a new Muslim. I deal with multiple challenges. I deal with a lot of worldly challenges that I have, been asking Allah to continue to remove me from. It's a lot of cultural challenges. Deal with a lot of just other Muslims interested in you changing overnight. Other Muslims being a little rough on you. Everything you do is considered haram. And it's tough, but it's always, the worldly temptations are always seem to be more welcoming now that you are closer to Allah. These things become more welcoming, more women come your way, more worldly temptations come your way, and it's just a challenge to try to stay away from these things, and it seems the more you get closer to Allah, the more worldly temptations come into your life, or try to come into your life, because Allah has been doing a great job with keeping me focused, keeping me away from these things, and helping me get to a better place.
We'll be right back.
When it's close to death, they say, oh God, don't let me die. But he's got something better than this world.
What's God going to get out of punishing you anyway?
We have to connect to this understanding that the Quran is from God, that Muhammad is his messenger, and the answers to the problems in our life are there.
And if we're going to worship something, I figured I might as well worship the Creator instead of any of the creations.
I am not afraid to stand alone. I am not afraid to stand alone. If Allah's by my side, I am not afraid to stand alone. I am not afraid to stand alone. If Allah's by my side, I am not afraid to stand alone. I am not afraid to stand alone. If Allah's by my side, I am not afraid to stand alone.
George, moving along, we have a few more questions for you. Tell us, how do the men in this business view women? Tell us about that.
Well, again, I can only speak for myself, but I personally would look for women as sexual desires at the time. I would try to conquer as many women as I could sexually. At the time, I would be disrespectful with language. I would be disrespectful with my actions. And now I'm in a place where I recognize that this is totally wrong. This is totally haram. I wouldn't want to have anyone speak to my daughter if inshallah Allah was to bless me with a daughter one day. I wouldn't want anyone to view my mother or my grandmother in any kind of disrespectful manner. I wouldn't want to have anyone woman-wise in my family to walk around half-dressed or being belittled or whistled or derogatory statements spoken to them. So I decided to change my way of thinking about women, stop with the sexual desires and lusting and temptation, and I just realized that this was the incorrect way of being, and I was taught this way for so many years that it had became a part of my everyday lifestyle.
George, tell us, what advice do you have for those people out there who are inspiring to be like these celebrities, these people who you used to want to be like before Islam? Tell us.
Well, my advice would be to understand that this is a lifestyle of no return. This is a lifestyle that has no fulfillment. It's a constant chase every day for the same thing. You're chasing the women, the money, the cars, the life. You're chasing the lifestyle, and you still never find that completeness and that fulfillingness. So my advice would be to seek Allah, and to these worldly temptations they take you nowhere. They just take you to a short-term happiness, short-term fulfillment, and it doesn't It's short-term fulfillment and short-term happiness, and once you seek Allah, Allah provides you with that void that you've been missing, such as myself. Allah provides you with that happiness. Allah provides you with the all the tools and all of the survival tactics and survival kits that you need to complete the happiness when it comes to women, when it comes to financial things, when it comes to any of these kind of things. Allah will provide it. I can say so because I am a living testament and a living example of this lifestyle. And I have sought Allah, I have found Allah, and now I am happy, and those voids have been fulfilled by Allah.